Etisalat Nigeria is in deep crisis as its international partners have terminated a management agreement. The reason is the Nigerian firm's inability to pay back its more than $500 million loan from the $1.2 billion loan taken from 13 local banks. Chief Executive Officer Etisalat International, Hatem Dawida, said the exit will begin in 3 weeks' time. The new development will lead to dropping the Etisalat trade name. For more perspectives on this, we have with us in the studio an online journalist, Tunji Andrews. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start this way. How valid is the apprehension that 24 million Etisalat subscribers may be disconnected following Etisalat's exit? Specifically, how will the situation be managed following its exit?
It's just basically a management takeover and brand change. It has nothing to do with the subscribers. The subscribers are an asset to the business. The business will still continue to run. I mean, in Nigeria, we saw a time where Econet existed in Nigeria and moved to, I think it was V-Mobile. So now it exists in some form as Airtel. And the subscribers, you know, transition from one brand name to the other. So what is going to happen is the brand name, in the eventuality that they pull out, will change, but the subscribers and the company will still stay because the company is profitable. It's just that it's not been able to pay that loan within the parameters to which it's been given.
Well, let me just you know, pick on what you just said now. Profitable. You said the company is profitable, but let's look deeper a little bit. Why do you think that the company, you know, made efforts to renegotiate the loan? Could it be that the company wasn't making money, or could it be in a bad management?
It's simple, right? Any loan, any credit at all, anywhere in the world is given based on a schedule, repayment schedule. And you, before taking the loan, would have budgeted the repayment into your cash flow. So you can tell yourself, I make 100 naira, I should be able to pay 30 naira, right? Now, we know that the loan was taken at 199 naira to the dollar. It's moved to 500, now we're about 360, right? So that means the loan has somehow doubled in naira terms. And this is you looking at your cash flow. That means the 30 naira we thought we had is now 60 naira on our books. And because you have other issues of overhead, repayment, salaries, you can't pay that money within the stipulated time you were given. So you need to come back to the table and say, okay, guys, I know I agreed to pay on these terms, but my cash flow cannot afford to pay this. So can we then restructure? And it happens with every business. What surprised me was the fact that he couldn't come to an agreement, because this happens in the banking industry on a regular basis because you can't plan for everything. When the loan was taken, nobody knew we're going to have a dollar crisis. Nobody knew oil was going to crash. Nobody expected all those things. So it's something that you should come back to the table and renegotiate. Like I said, I'm surprised they didn't agree, but what has happened has happened. It's time to move on. Now,
Tunji, how much of this can we relate to the challenging nature of doing business in Nigeria?
So, well, the truth about it is that, I mean, it is challenging to do business in Nigeria. I talk to entrepreneurs a lot of the time, and I know how difficult it is to do business in Nigeria. But this issue is more around a lot of external factors. First of all, global crude oil prices affecting Nigeria, which then affected the dollar market, which then made us to create capital controls, which then made investors exit, which made the Naira go up. So you see that long line. It's really not about the Nigerian business terrain itself, although that doesn't say it's not challenging. But this is not having to do with the Nigerian terrain. The Nigerian terrain is difficult, no doubt, but this is more around the dollar situation.
Now, all right, the banks, you know, have a duty to give out loan to investors and all that. But with a situation like this, what message is this? You know, I mean, will this pass across to, you know, regular investors? Because everyone is, you know, surprised really that they couldn't reach an agreement, despite all of these, you know, issues that you put on ground.
I mean, the first thought in my mind was, why is there such a huge disagreement? I mean, it is, come to the table, renegotiate. The Etisalat party isn't saying we don't want to pay. The banks are not saying we don't want to collect the money. The issue here is the fact that I mean, the repayment terms have changed a bit, right? So I felt they could come to an agreement. I mean, there are all sorts of rumors out there, but at the end of the day, they did not agree. I think investors will be a little bit worried about collecting bank loans. I mean, it doesn't favor anybody. It doesn't favor the business people. It doesn't favor the banks, because the banks are made to look like the bad guys here.
And the economy as well.
I'm telling you, it doesn't favor anybody. It doesn't favor Nigeria in terms of foreign investors, because I mean, everybody from across the world is thinking, are you serious? Did they say they were not going to pay back? Okay, if they said so, then why did you foreclose? So it's so many things on so many angles, and I wish everybody would try to make it more transparent so that, you know, we're a bit more clear to what is happening. But yeah, nobody wins in this war. Nobody wins.
Talking about what favors who, let's look at options for the company. It's been asked to, that's the Etisalat, the UAE aspect of the company now exiting the country, to pay to relinquish 45% of its shares to a loan committee. What are the options open to the company in the sense that, is that sufficient to make up for the $500 million that it was supposed to pay back? And then what's the future of profitability for the company? I hope you catch my drift.
Yes, I get that, totally. Now, the company, the profitability still stands, right? So whoever is going to buy those shares is going to put the money into the business, and the shares, the money he pays for the shares is going to go back into repaying the loan. So that doesn't affect the business at all. Does the business still have customers? About 25 million. Will they still be making calls? Yes. So that doesn't affect the profitability. Could the business, I think Etisalat probably felt, I mean, we might not be able to make headway with this. It's better we pull out than, you know, stain our name. You get, but I feel this, drag it as long as it will go. There will be an agreement somewhere down the line. Nobody favors, because even the banks won't be able to recoup the entire money they're looking for with this share takeover. I mean, that is clear. So
the banks still have to wait.
They're still going to make a loss. So it's clear here. So, I mean, the best option would have been restructure, make sure everybody pays.
Right, Tunji, very quickly, any lessons for all of us in this whole scenario?
Plan better. Prepare for everything. Africa is such a difficult terrain to do business in. Plan for everything. Plan for the externals, plan for the internals. It's just what happens with business. But at the end of the day, I think business people and you know, investors just need to be more aware of what's going on around the entire world and as it affects Nigeria.
Instructive. Tunji Andrews, online journalist, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
You're watching TVC News Hour. Stay with us for more stories just ahead.